Strikers are often seen as the main man of any team, the player everything revolves around. The striker is the one expected to lead, carry, and deliver, and no one embodies this mindset more than Barou Shoei. Welcome to the Blue Lock Scout Report, the series where we break down Blue Lock's top players through the eyes of a real football scout. We'll analyze what makes them great, what makes them unique, and in a follow-up video, use that knowledge to build the ultimate U20 Japan team around them. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and check out the new post. There's a live poll there where you can vote on who should be featured next in this series. But for now, let's get into it and take a closer look at Blue Lock's unpredictable king, Barou Shoei. Barou is just 18 years old and already set to sign a 150 million yen contract with Ubers. His primary position is striker, but we've also seen him operate on the wing. As a striker, Barou's main role is as an advanced forward or complete forward, constantly pushing the back line, staying high, and looking for space to shoot. But with his physical strength and finishing ability, he's also shown flashes of being like a target forward or even a poacher, able to bully defenders and finish scrappy chances. Standing at 6'2", right-footed, Barou is a naturally gifted striker and relentless worker who commands attention the moment he steps on the pitch. His core weapon is his middle shot, a powerful but still curving strike from the central area of the pitch. Backing that up is his secondary weapons, like elite physicality, chopped dribbles, and of course his predator eye. For Barou's playstyle tagline, I've gone with classic number 9. For anyone unfamiliar, each football role traditionally carries a number. Goalkeepers are 1, box-to-box midfielders are 8, playmakers are 10, and strikers are the number 9. Out of everyone in Blue Lock, no one represents that number better than Barou. Snuffy himself called him the embodiment of a true striker, and it's easy to see why. He's got everything a number 9 needs: power, confidence, and the ego to back it up, making classic number 9 the perfect description of his game. Let's start with the most defining part of Barou's game, his goal threat. Barou's signature weapon is his middle shot, a powerful curving strike from the central area. He can consistently score from as far as 29 meters out, placing shots with laser precision, usually to the top right corner. With Predator Eye integrated into this, Barou can even shoot through crowded defenses, reading gaps and adjusting his aim mid-strike to make his shots unpredictable and nearly impossible to save. But that's not his only way to score. Standing at 6'2" with elite strength, Barou is also dangerous in physical duels. He's capable of scoring headers, rebounds, and poacher-style finishes, as we saw in the U20 match. Whether it's a long-range screamer or a close-range brawl, Barou finds a way to get the ball into the net. Now, critics often call Barou a system player, someone who only thrives when the team is built around him. But that label misses the point. In football, your striker is supposed to be the focal point. The system should play to their strengths, at least offensively. That's literally what strikers are for. And if anything, Barou makes the process easier. He's the kind of forward you can build an entire offense around, because he delivers when the ball gets to him. And even in games where the system wasn't built for him, Barou still found ways to score. Whether it's through power, positioning, or sheer will, he's proven time and time again that he doesn't need the perfect setup. He just needs an inch of space. When it comes to chance creation, this is where Barou starts to show some weaknesses. At his core, his passing and vision isn't terrible, but they're far from standout. The real issue comes down to his own ego. Barou always wants to be the main goal scorer, the player who finishes the play, not the one starting it. Because of that, he rarely looks to create for others unless it somehow benefits his own attack. He's the type of striker who will pass if it keeps him involved in the play, not just to help someone else score. And as a result, his chance creation numbers take a massive hit. Now, that's not necessarily a fatal flaw for a striker. I mean, most pure strikers have selfish instincts. But if Barou ever learned to use his gravity on the pitch to set up others instead of just demanding the spotlight, it could potentially take his game to another level, even if it clashes with his own ego-driven nature. That evolution could be the difference between him being number 4 and number 1. Moving on to positioning and movement, this is an area where Barou performs well. Not necessarily the best in Blue Lock, but definitely above average. His overall skill set tends to overshadow how intelligent his positioning actually is. Barou's mentality plays a huge role here. Since he always expects the team to play around him, he positions himself high up on the pitch, constantly lurking near the opponent's backline, ready to strike. It's the behavior of a true striker, always hunting for the next goal rather than dropping deep or drifting wide unnecessarily. The one limitation though is that his movement is always self-focused. Barou only makes runs that benefit him, not his teammates. He doesn't create space for others or make decoy runs to open passing lanes. Of course, smart players around him can still take advantage of the chaos his presence creates, but that's more of a byproduct than Barou's own intent. In short, Barou moves like a predator, not a playmaker, always in the right spots to score, but rarely there to support. And lastly, we have 1v1 ability, one of Barou's stronger traits. From the start of Blue Lock, Barou established himself as a high-level dribbler. He might not be the flashiest, but he's definitely among the best. Most of his 1v1 success comes from chop dribbles and feints, a zigzag style that lets him beat defenders while staying balanced and in full control. It's simple, but brutally effective, giving him enough space to enter his lethal shooting range. This is also why I mentioned his potential as a winger earlier. Even though he's a natural striker, Barou's chopped dribble-based technique allows him to shine from the wing, and it's potentially better used there than in the striker position, like in the U20 match, where he came in and immediately caused chaos from the wing position. And while we don't see it often anymore, Barou has also shown flashes of advanced flair, things like heel flicks and quick touches that remind you how technically skilled he really is. He doesn't rely on showboating, but he's definitely capable of pulling some flair skill moves out of his bag. Starting off Barou's defensive contribution, let's look at his pressing. Originally, Barou's defensive work rate was minimal. Pressing just wasn't a part of his game. But after rebelling against Snuffy's tactics with Ubers, something changed. Barou started pressing on his own terms, aggressively and also intelligently, and it worked. His pressure directly helped Ubers win the ball back multiple times as that match reached its climax. What's interesting is that Barou now presses in the sweet spot for strikers. He's not the type to sprint aimlessly and leave his position exposed, but he doesn't stand idle either. He applies pressure when it matters, forcing mistakes without compromising his main job, being ready to score the moment the possession flips. For a striker, that's almost a perfect balance. Just like his pressing, Barou's defensive work rate evolved massively after rebelling against Snuffy's system. Early on, tracking back wasn't a part of his mindset. He saw defense as someone else's problem, but that changed in the later stages of that match, especially when the game was on the line. Barou started dropping deep, sometimes all the way back to his own box to help his team defend. For a striker, that kind of work rate isn't required, but it says a lot about his mentality. When the moment demands it, Barou is willing to grind. It's rare to see a pure goal scorer switch into survival mode, but when he does, it shows that even the king can get his hands dirty when the throne's under threat. Lastly, we have ball recovery, easily the weakest part of Barou's defensive game. Without metavision or the ability to use his predator eye defensively, he simply lacks the tools that some of the more defensively gifted Blue Lock players have. His pressing might be solid, but when it comes to actually winning the ball back directly, he ends up being a little bit below average. That said, this isn't really a problem. After all, he's a striker. Ball recovery is more of a luxury than a necessity. His job is to finish chances, not win duels in the midfield. So it's not a strength, but it's far from a natural weakness to consider. When it comes to decision making, this is one of Barou's most polarizing traits. It can be both a strength and a weakness. In a system built around him, Barou's choices are sharp. He knows when to shoot, when to take on defenders, and when to make a simple pass to keep the play alive. Within that structure, his confidence translates to efficiency. But when the system isn't built for him, everything changes. Barou becomes reluctant to pass, and whoever receives the ball might try to take the spotlight for themselves. That stubbornness often leads to poor decisions, low percentage shots, forced dribbles, and wasted chances, all driven by ego rather than logic. Barou's decision making only shines when the world or the field revolves around him, but the moment it doesn't, his ego can cloud his vision. Next, we have adaptability, one of Barou's most underrated qualities. People often claim Barou only thrives in systems built around him, but that's not entirely true. Time and time again, whenever he's pushed to the edge, when the game isn't going his way, Barou finds a way to adapt. It's not always pretty, but it almost always works out in the end for him. What makes his adaptability so unique is the fact that it comes from unpredictability. When most players hit their limit, Barou breaks his own. In those desperate high pressure situations, even the smartest players in Blue Lock can struggle to predict what he ends up doing next. And that's exactly what makes him so dangerous. Next up, we have clutch factor, another one of Barou's most overlooked strengths. This trait goes hand in hand with his adaptability. When the game reaches its breaking point, when everything's on the line, Barou doesn't fade away, he evolves. thrives. Those do or die moments are where he's at his most dangerous, constantly finding ways to shift momentum back into his favor. Even in matches he doesn't win, Barou is almost always at the center of the turning point of the game, the spark that changes everything, whether it's a crucial equalizer, a solo breakthrough, or a defiant counter to be shut down. Barou thrives when pressure peaks. And lastly, we have ego factor, the defining element of Barou's entire identity as a player. Barou's ego is built around one simple belief: he is the king, not just of the pitch, but of the football world itself. He sees himself as a player above everyone else, someone who doesn't follow the system but is the system. His goal is to dominate, to force teammates to play by his rules, and to make his opponents realize their inferiority. But there's another side to that ego, the part that turns his humiliation into fuel. When someone manages to shatter his pride, like Isagi once did, Barou doesn't collapse. He turns that pain into obsession, hunting down the next chance to reclaim his throne from that player. It's a brutal but perfect formula for self-improvement. Of course, that same ego can cause some problems. Barou must always be the focal point, and if he's not, his presence can tear apart a team's chemistry. And if the rival he's obsessed with happens to be on the same side as him, that fire can burn the whole system down, even if it costs his own team the win. Barou's ego can be both a positive and a negative. It can be the very thing that makes him unstoppable and unpredictable, but also be the thing that ends up dragging his team down. Now let's talk tactical fit and see where Barou truly fits into a team. There's only one system that fits his mentality and playstyle: a single striker formation. Barou's entire identity is as the king, so that automatically clashes with the idea of a two-striker system. It simply doesn't work for him, or at least isn't something he wants to do. In a single striker setup, Barou becomes the clear focal point of the attack, the one every phase of the play is built around. As for ideal partnerships, there are three key archetypes that bring the best out of him. First up is a playmaker, someone who can consistently feed him passes when he's positioned high up on the pitch. Barou doesn't roam deep, he waits for delivery, so having a passer who can find him between defenders is crucial. Second is a shadow striker, a supporting attacker. This type of player operates in the pockets behind him, linking plays, drawing attention, and creating small openings for Barou to strike through. They're not there to compete as another striker for Barou, they're simply there to amplify Barou's abilities. And finally, we have traditional wingers. Thanks to his height and strength, Barou can absolutely dominate in aerial duels. Having wide players who can deliver accurate balls into the box adds another dimension to his scoring game, allowing him to punish defenses from both the ground and the air. At the end of the day, Barou works best at the spearhead, the single point every attack funnels toward. A team around him doesn't just support him, it serves him. So, what makes Barou Shoei such an elite player? At the end of the day, it all comes down to his ego. In football, if one position were to ever be called king, it would be the striker, and Barou's obsession with that idea has shaped him into the perfect embodiment of it. He has every trait you'd want from your pure number 9: power, precision, balance, and ruthless mentality to match. His ego isn't just attitude, it's his engine. It's what pushes him to refine every part of his game: shooting, strength, dribbling, and more, until there's no obvious flaws left to exploit. Long before Blue Lock, Barou already understood exactly what he wants and what he wanted to become, and that self-certainty is what turned him into one of the most complete strikers in the series. A rare mix of raw talent, relentless work ethic, and unshakable belief. He's not just a striker who wants to score goals, he's the king who wants to rule the entire football world.